Hey everybody, how you doing tonight? Hope everybody is having a great day. Although I tell you what, there's a lot of fires, a lot of smoke out there. I know the sun was like orange when I got up this morning at 7 o'clock. I had to actually go outside to see that it was daylight, or had I slept all day. It was one of those crazy, weird things. Like it's morning, but still, it was so dark. It was kind of weird. So, anyways, with that, we're gonna get into some hobby. We're gonna continue on with building the lighted Primaris Outrider. Gonna put those LEDs in there. If you were with me last week, of course, you know that we went ahead and mounted the wires in the base here. We connected the wires. We tested the wiring, so that all went very well. And then we began to work on routing the wire through the model itself. So we can see right there. I went ahead and drilled the first barrel, and that's as far as we got. We ran out of time on our hour. So first things first, let me go ahead and double check that the stream and all that good stuff is live. Let's see, looks like we have the chat live over there. So I'm going to pop over to Facebook, see that that's working. Let's see what we got. In your face, in your face. Let's see, I don't know. I think we're live. Let's see here. Let's see on YouTube real quick. See what we're live on YouTube. Give me that feedback, folks. Let me know that you're out there. Let me know that I am talking to you. Let's see what we got here. In Your Phase Media on YouTube. That's from 6 days ago. Going there. And it looks like we're live. Okay, well, at the very least, I am live on YouTube. Pretty sure I'm live on Facebook. That's one of those things. Check with my teammates and co-hosts. Make sure nobody's noticed anything crazy going on. Okay, well, with that, I think we are good to go, everybody. So let's do this. Okay. Boom, boom, boom. Weird, it's not showing me on my Facebook that I'm live, but I assume I am. Supposed to be. Anyways, that's we use a service called Restream, and Restream basically is supposed to go simultaneously on Twitch, YouTube, and on Facebook. So, without further ado, let's go ahead and get into our build this week. So, I'm going to start the timer. And here we go. 1 hour of hobby. Okay, everybody. So, like I said, last week we had finished. Oh, by the way, I noticed my camera was having a little hard time focusing. So, they say if you give the camera something to focus on, it'll help it out. So, I'm going to go ahead and switch over from my lovely face cam here and go to the desk cam. And you see here, I busted out my Dark Angels old objective token. That's from the, I want to say 6th, 7th edition, 6th edition. I don't know if there was a difference as far as codexes go. But special edition for the Dark Angels. It came with these really cool objective marker coins. So we'll just put that, since we are building a bike. These bikes, since my Johnny Marines are a neutral color, there's a good chance that these bikes will actually see some time as Ravenwing, as Dark Angels. Oh man. Sorry if I'm a little sniffly here, but we got this crazy, crazy fires going on in California, and it's just smoke. It's literally like raining ashes outside of my house. It was orange outside, pretty wild. So let's do this. Okay, so now I have these bikes. Now, I'll remind you that we're actually building, 2 bikes at once. So here's the second wire harness. Both on the screen at once. Prove that they both exist. And mostly I've been building the second bike between, kind of following things. If I was clever, I'd build the second bike ahead of where I am on a Wednesday and show you, like, here's what we're going to complete this week. But, you know, my first series of hobby streams, we'll look at improvements, especially I've been getting some good feedback from people. I appreciate that. So we're going to go ahead and drill out where we're going to put the fiber optic for the barrel. And I rushed right at the end of the show last time. And can you see that? It's like, oh, it's just a little off center. That'll bug me forever. But unlike a drilled barrel, this whole barrel, since we're using the fiber optic as the barrel itself, see here? So even if it's off center, at least the light effect will look like it's centered relative to the barrel. So it should still work out for us. Okay. So first off, I'm just going to come in here and I'm going to drill out the other ones. And just by eye, I mean, I could go and do something cool, like maybe draw a cross. And see where that scores the center. Oh, that worked. Can you see that? I just barely pushed. Now this camera has been pretty amazing in its zoom-o-matics. So we'll further challenge it. There it is. Oh, can you see it? Can you see it? Look at that. You can barely see where I scored the center. So anyway, so that's giving me a little bit of guidance as to where the actual center is. So I'm going to come in with my X-Acto knife first. I put that on center. And, man, this thing's sharp. I sliced my finger by catching the edge as I pulled it away. Okay, that started. Not bad, not bad. Okay, I think that's pretty good. No, see, it's still off center. You can see that. We really want to come in just a hair to the side. That's the whole problem. Like I said, with drilling out barrels is just see. You know, it's like the eye, as far as measurement, like the eye is terrible at like looking at something and seeing how big it is. Absolute measurement. But comparative measurement, if you have something sitting next to something, i.e. looking at the center of something, then you can usually tell. So, I'm not overly convinced that I improved it that much, but probably good enough. Knife aside. Now, I got this DeWalt driver. I use these at work, and I broke down and just bought one for myself at home. And it's a centrifugal driver, so you start the motor. Can you hear it buzzing over there? Bzz, 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 bzz. And then as you just turn, you know, rotate this in space, that's what controls the forward, backward motion. So I was just thinking that, man, you know, I use these at work, but I was like, wow, I think these would be perfect for hobby. Just give you like a lot of control over drilling and stuff like that. You don't need less. They're really a screwdriver meant for driving screws, but yeah, it's like you don't drive a lot of screws in this hobby, but for running drills, especially a guy like me who does a lot of LED work, not too bad. So let's see if we can get that started. Now I got the pilot on there, but man, I just don't think I did a good job in getting that pilot going. So see if it ends up biting us. Not super happy with that one. That's the problem with this kind of work, is you gotta go for it, you know, and if you're not happy with it, well, it is what it is. I'm gonna be building a few of these. If this was like a single character, I'd be a little more concerned. Nice chip coming out of there. Yeah, I like the control on this. More speed in there. Nice and even. It's a brand new drill bit too, which is always nice for cutting true and straight. Ah, there we go. Nice, easy out. Okay. Well, that was easy enough to drill, so that wasn't too bad. Let's plastic out of the way. Clean up a little bit as I go along. And now we've got the two halves of this bike. Their barrels drilled out. Let's see if we got that large enough. So here's the actual fiber optic material that we're going to use. And yeah, it goes in the hole. Goes in the hole. No problems. It's a little big over there. It doesn't matter if it's a little big. We're going to have glue and other junk in there. In fact, for the record, I have the hot melt glue gun. Let's see. You can't really see it, but if you look behind me, like right here, I have a tray sitting on my printer with the hot melt glue in it, gun, and we'll probably get to that. Hot melt glue is nice. It you can use it as an insulator, so we're going to use it to hold some wires in place. It also conducts light very well, so you can see that it actually helps us with our fiber optics. Okay, so we've got the first two halves of the bike done. Let's didn't even clip this one yet. Let's take care of that. And again, we're just clipping that barrel right off. Yep, see that? Just like we do. Take care of this other one. Boom, barrel clipped right off. And we'll get our file. Quick clean up. And hey, if you're out there watching, feel free to chat and say hi. If you're on Facebook or YouTube, even Twitch, I think I should see the chat. It kind of merges it all together. So feel free to say hi out there. Wish I could play music or something in the background, be like John's greatest hits, but I've tried that in the past. And I got my video that I did that with flagged by YouTube because, of course, I didn't own the music I was playing in the background. So that's not going to happen again. That sprue eye's a little rough. I'll clean that up a little bit too. Okay, so got both of those trimmed. And, I tried to spot them before with the X-Acto knife, and that's probably the right choice, but just wasn't super happy with how centered it came. So here I'm just going to try and wing it. Let's see how well we do. Get that camera so well, but sometimes it needs a little bit of help. I was thinking maybe what I need is just like a plinth, right? I raise this plinth up, and then it's there. Oh, we got that focus. Keep the camera. Oh, look at that. That's nice. Okay, now let's see if I can actually work like this, like watching one of those surgical shows, right? And the surgeon brings the drill into the center of his eye. Yeah, we're gonna have to spot that. It's like trying to hold it up where the camera can see it at a weird angle. I think I was better off spotting it with the X-Acto knife. So we're going to come here. I thought I went a little high before, so I'm just going to come a little bit below what my eye says is center, figuring that I probably was, ooh, look at that, caught myself, slipped. And let's get that. Come on. You can do it. You can do it. Ah, there we go. Nice. Okay, got that. Oh, man, that's way too low. And correct a little when we get the drill started in there. Oh, that's nice. I think I nailed it. Okay. If out of the entire build, I get one barrel exactly where I want it, I will be pretty happy. So let's try the surgeon's view again. Let's focus. Focus. You can do it, camera. Believe in you. Sometimes. Oh, and see, as soon as I get frustrated, I'm like, that's it. And then it goes for it. Okay, here we go. Let's see if we can get this to real straight. Oh, nice. Nice start. Okay, bring that in. Okay, look at that. Better not watch the camera, better actually pay attention to what I'm doing. I'm watching the camera, I'm like, oh, look, I'm looking on the camera as the drill bit pops out the side. go. Going. Pick up that speed a little. There we go. I really like these hand drivers. Lots of control. And don't get impatient. Don't get impatient. Almost there. Almost there. Just when you think you're going to be drilling forever. There we go. Okay. One more done. Nice. Okay. And, oops. Let's see. I guess we'll go ahead and, we won't kid ourselves that we can get this one without spotting. We'll just dive right in there. Yeah. I think that's a good spot. Okay, well, you know, by the fourth one, I'm actually getting practice. Sixth one, I guess, technically. I did build that first bike already. Knife out of the way. Okay. I think we got this. Let's do this. On there. That like mesmerizing watching a drill go. My first machine shop jobs, worked at a little gauge making company, and there's an old engineer by the name of Johnny Bond who basically ran the machine shop, and you know all the people working at that company. Well, most of us were college students who would like go to school, and then oh nice broke through. We would like go to class, come to work, go to class, come to work. So my whole day was like a 12-hour day where I'd basically get up early, go to work early, leave work, go over to my college, take whatever class, leave there, go back to the job so that I'd get, you know, 8 hours every day, but still be able to split the day up as needed to get my college classes in. So it was a pretty ideal situation. And most of us that worked at that company, a little 12-person gauge making company, were in that same situation. So one of my first jobs there was operating this drill press, and of course I had to, you know, bring the drill press down and drill through these sheet metal pieces. And there were these like hot metal chips that would like fly off and they'd land on my neck, and I'm like holding the fixture and the drill press at the same time. Well, these hot metal chips were like landing on my neck and hands and stuff. It was pretty gnarly. Thought it was tough. Yeah, I can handle it. Nowadays, I would probably just put on some gloves, maybe a face shield, yeah, leather apron. But hey, there was lots of not safe when working at that company. That's for sure. As many places I've worked. Okay, so that looks pretty good, and that looks pretty good. Randomly, that one drill looks bigger. I wonder if I used a larger bit originally. Anyways, a 16th is the right size. I can see those differences. You see that? Come on. Camera. Always timing. We're gonna crack the code on this camera, and we're gonna get real good at making it focus. So anyways, there's our four drilled bits, and you can see on this one, I think that one larger one looks like it's off. That's the one I rushed last week, and then these two are pretty good. Not bad. I don't think it'll be really noticeable, you know, as far as that goes. If anyone comments, I'll be like zoom zoom, you know, move them around and stuff, blind you with the light shining in your eyes, right? Pew 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 pew. Okay, so that is it for that little bit. Now, as far as the plasma coil goes, and you see that coming out right in the back there, plasma coil glow. That's actually a 1/8 inch fiber optic. You know, it's funny. Back in the day, right, 3-4 years ago, did a Kickstarter for Powered Play Gaming, and it included some of these fiber optic bits, and it included like this diamond file that I'm going to use for cleaning up the fiber optic. So some nice stuff that's actually lasted me through many projects. You can see I'm getting down on some of the larger fiber optic, and then the 16th, I still got a pretty good amount of it. And I actually, I'll reach over to that. I got a big bin where I keep all my LED stuff, and then I even have this finer. I guess the other one's a 16th. This must be a 32nd fiber optic, or maybe it's 1 millimeter. Hard to say, but this is definitely 16th. Well, in case it could be 1.5 millimeters, which is a little under a 16th, but I think these are all inch sizes, imperial sizes, as it were. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and drill that out, and this is a 3 millimeter piece of fiber optic, about 1/8 of an inch. I'm looking at the two, and I think the fiber optic might be just a hair larger than the drill. So we'll just kind of wiggle the drill as we go in with that. So we'll swap that bit out here. Put in that. Now, of course, again, this is like meant to be a screwdriver, the centrifugal driver. So it does use a hex chuck. I had to pick up, hex drill bits, which, whatever. They seem to work fine. I mean, for what we're doing, it's not like we're doing anything heavy duty, man. Okay, so we're going to go right in there. And let's do this. I'm just going to open up that little hole right there, that piece. If you see on the back side here, it's got its own indent, so I'm just going to kind of drill through on that. That was an easy place to find. Don't know if you guys are checking out the In Your Phase Media podcast. I hope you are. Our episode for this week, which generally should be releasing on Thursdays, though often will be Friday morning, or at least is at first, while we're still kind of working out the bugs of how things release. Interesting. It takes a bit to get like approved through Apple and all of these things, so that when you do your release, it goes to all the different places where people might want to find podcasts. So you can see it came through. It has like a little bit of extra flash. I'm just going to trim that by hand. This is my super sharp knife. Remember, I have a sharp knife, a dull knife, and then like a cutting knife over here. 3 different X-Actos, so I have them handy. And we'll just kind of hand clean that up. Pretty good. There we go. Nice. Very nice. Okay. And let's test the fit with that fiber optic real quick. So anyways, if you've been listening and following the podcast, this week is going to be an Age of Sigmar release. We've been alternating. So one week we'll talk about 40K. The next week, Age of Sigmar, at least as far as the main topics. The first half of the show, where we kind of talk about what's been in our phase, the things we've been working, the games we've been played, might be about anything. I myself have really mostly been playing 40K lately. Really, it's because that's what people are playing around me. That's what's available. Obviously, COVID limits our choices, and luckily I got my buddy Sean down in San Martin, who has a big old barn that we can play in, so it's very nice. Clean that up while I'm on it. Sprue eye on the end here. Hopefully by the end of a build, you catch all the little burrs and other rough areas. Just kind of clean them up as you go along. One of the reasons I don't put too much effort into the initial cleanup, because I know that as I'm doing stuff, I'm going to have an opportunity to take care of other little things I notice. So go. that sharp knife, man. Easy to cut yourself on that thing. Okay, so we've got that first one drilled through. Let's go ahead and power through this second one. And so anyways, this week on the In Your Phase podcast, talking about Age of Sigmar, we decided to cover the new Lumineth Realm Lords, which if you look on the shelf behind me, you can see it up above my head, is the Lumineth Realm Lords box set or special edition preview. I don't know what the hell they call that thing, but it was cool. It came with the rule book and a couple units of the couple models or a couple units from the line, dice, random shit like that. And so it's all cool. And so again, we got that little piece to cut off by hand. And so now they've went and released or put on pre-order, I should say, the rest of the Lumineth line. And so this week's podcast, we really kind of go through it from a buyer's guide perspective. So Jeremy played a whole bunch of Lumineth games, Tabletop Simulator, I think mostly, though. I think he played some in Proxy. He's in Garrett's Tabletop Simulator GT. But anyway, so he played a bunch of games with Lumineth and then had some recommendations for us on the show. So, like, if you want to start a Lumineth army, specifically, what units should you buy? So, there we go. Got that drilled through. You can see my Ravenwing coin or Dark Angel. Well, it's a Ravenwing coin because, right, that's a Ravenwing symbol for sure. And we're going to put that fiber optic through there. Make sure it fits. Yeah, no problems. No problems at all. So we're end up trimming down that fiber optic where it just sticks out on either side. We got to fit the guy's leg, has to be able to fit in there and that kind of stuff. So but let's go ahead and get this other side drilled out real quick. Because you see why it takes me forever to hobby. I am not fastest hobbyist. Just like to take my time, do a good job. Here the build, right? You pay so much for these models, and I'm a big believer in, I call it like my movie theater is my cost, is my basic entertainment metric, as it were. So you figure you pay, and I know these are like not really the price, but I think you gotta pay like $10 to go see a movie, and the movie's like 2 hours. So it's like $5 an hour is kind of a rough approximation of what you're paying when you go to the movie theaters. And so I kind of look at most entertainment that I do. There's like, am I getting a $5 an hour value out of it? So if I have a model kit that I've paid $60 for, well, then I need to get at least 12 hours worth of entertainment out of that kit. And so, I take my time, do a nice build, relax, focus. That's what it's really about, right? Just taking your mind off of life's real pressures and relaxing a bit. So I just relax and do that. Maybe take a couple hours to build, a couple more hours to paint. And, by the time the kit's done, maybe, I need about 4 or 5 hours worth of playtime with it for it to be, quote, broke even or have made my movie theater entertainment money off of it. Now, the nice thing about Warhammer is that in theory, your models last, many years, and you play games with them, and the games last, 2 or 3 hours at a time. So you figure like every time you play a game, you pay for, a miniature. Like one model in your army is paid for when you play a game. Maybe 2 is paid for every time you play a game, depending on how long the game takes. But you play with the army for years and years and use those models many times. And so it's a great value on your time, in theory and potential, right? But then all of us are maniac collectors. And so, of course, it's not enough to buy an army and then play with it for years and years, which you could do, and some people do. Instead, we're going to, buy that army, play with a little bit, buy some more models, add some stuff to it, let it be a huge collection, then decide to just do something else completely at some random point, start a different army. Like so many Warhammer hobbyists do. I do have a few Warhammer armies at this point, plus Age of Sigmar and 40k, since I play both. Okay, so we've got that drilled in there, and we've got those lights. And then the next thing is, if you look, we've got this glow effect coming through the shroud here. And the shroud, already has a hole in it. So that's easy to see there. That's that. Already got a hole right there. Blow through it. Now you can see it. So I just need to make sure that we drop or drill out this sub cowling in the right spot. We're going to go in there. And is this the right one? Yeah, that looks right. Notice the leg peg is lining up nicely. Oh, yeah, there we go. In the crotch. These one-way build models, right? Easy fit or whatever. Yeah, right. Lack O options sometimes. That seems to work. I don't know. Something's jamming in there. Oh, see, that's definitely not right. You can see that. So, duh. That means that we should be using... Let's see. I had these. Did I just mix these up? I had these straight for a reason. It's not hard to tell which ones go together. Like, you see this little pip there and that pip there. Those are lower in the model, whereas this one has the pip higher in the model. So it's easy to tell which is which. And then I just have to pick the right cowling. And I thought I was working with the correct set. Yeah, okay, so here's big pips sticking out. So those big pips should go into the model like that. And I've cut them back because I need the extra area for wiring. And see where this came in. Oh, yeah, that's really crooked. I don't think that's going to be a problem because of how much I'm about to remove from in there. But yeah, that's not the best situation. In fact, I might end up just clipping that whole area out, like right as I look at this thing. Right, I might just pull it out, like you can see here where the drill kind of broke in halfway. But I think if I just remove this entire section, we'll still get good lighting in here. But one of the things I want to be able to get the LED on the back edge of the fiber optic. So the fiber optic's going to come through as the barrel. Then I want to attach the LED to the back of the fiber optic. And then I'm going to pack the entire area with hot melt glue gun glue until it flows out of this hole a little bit. Let that, kind of harden. And then actually after paint, you see that little bit of a scrapey look to it, go back in there and slice that back. It's not as clean on this one as I would like, so I'm going to actually leave a little more glue sticking out so that after the paint I can go in there. This first one I tried to mask with some masking tape, and it wasn't as clean as I'd like. So just different ideas. It's a joke I often make. It's like the last model of the build is the one that you know how to build the best. So okay, and then this cowling obviously does not go on that side. So, and that one has fat pips, and that one has small pips. So this must be the cowling for this side. Ah, there we go. Now we've got this. And see, now it fits together better on the top. And a nice space on the bottom here. We're going to remove this section right here so we can run the wires in. And we're also going to create use a little piece of foil to create a barrier from one side of the lights from the other, because we have two different flashing effects, and it's like variances in the manufacture of these LEDs means that the timing on them isn't perfect. Like right for a minute they look like they're in focus, in sync, but just watch them now, they're completely out of sync, alternating. You can tell that one of them is just going a little bit slower than the other one. In fact, this one, right, is going a little bit slower than the other one. And if you watch them for another few seconds, they start to sync back up. See, boom, and there they are. They're back in sync. And then pretty soon they'll be back out of sync. So anyways, they're, because of that, most of the time it creates that effect that I want, which was that alternating back and forth like the guns. But what I don't want to happen is that when this side is flashing, it's shining into this other side. So that's where we're going to try and divide those from each other. So, okay, so we've got that going on. There's drill holes in there. Very nice. And let's go ahead and just do some clipping, and we're going to open up the rest of that stuff. And we might be ready to do some wiring. Yeah, we got about a half hour left, so I think we'll be able to actually put the bike on the base at the very least here. So we're going to come in. I'm going to bring the wires right through this bottom piece. So I'm just going to clip out this section. Like one of the biggest things that when you're evaluating a model to see if you want to do it for a LED project is like how much open space is in the model, how much cutting do you have to do. It's like as my buddy Paul will let you know, you can do resin models. Like he loves his Tau, and all his Tau is beautifully lighted. But we have some Forge World models in there, and including that Manta. And when you're having to light Forge World, that means everything is drilled, right? Those are solid resin models. So you're drilling everything, drilling everywhere. In fact, let's see, show you this. It's like this is an extra long drill, basically, so for running wires in resin models. They're building some Forge World or something like that, need to run a wire through a body up through a leg or anything like that. That's what this long ass drill is for. You, in plastic models, like I guess in theory you could use it in plastic models, but really in plastic models you always have this open space in the middle. So anyways, that's one of the big things for evaluating a model for a build, is taking a look at, how are you going to, where is the power supply going to go, and how are you going to run the wires? So like the first thing you say is, okay, cool, I'm looking at this model and I think that such and such would look cool with lights in it, and whatever such and such is, you can decide the machine guns, the headlights, the searchlights, the sensor array, the power plant, the display screen, the helmet visor, the gun effects, the explosion, the exhaust, right? The list goes on of sort of valid things that you can make glow on a model or have lights on a model. So that's the first thing, is you look at your model and say, I want such and such to be lit on this model. Then you have to take a realistic look at, can I actually either fit an LED in that space, or can I run a fiber optic, or again, one of the kind of LED modelers tricks is, can I create a passage that I can pump full of hot melt glue to transmit light? So there's a few options as far as that goes, but you have to look at like what the thing you want to light, can you get the light to it? And with these new Evans design Pico and Nano LEDs, in fact, let's see here, if we drop over to the desk zoom cam, boom, 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 desk zoom, and I prepared, oops, that one, really, oh well, that's less impressive than I would want it to be, that's for sure. Okay. Ah, there we go. Okay. Don't know why OBS did that. That was kind of weird. But anyways, there, get this out of the way, is the information on the LEDs that I'm actually using here. Right, so we got Evans Design LEDs. We've got the Pico Orange Fast Flash. We got the size Z Red and the size Z Blue with a 3-volt coin cell holder with switch. Cool. Go back. Actually, we'll just stay on this view. I guess you guys don't need to see my beautiful face the whole time. We'll let you look at the close-up view for a minute. So we've got that channel cleaned out, that one, and there should be one more. There it is. Now, if you think that I hobby a minute and then am distracted a minute and it seems to take forever, like that's literally how I hobby. So, you know, I will do something for a minute. I'll start thinking, oh, what about this? Check out something, Google, watch a video, wander back, go get a snack, wander back. So, you know, by the end of the day, I've done a couple hours of hobby, but I've really spread it out. Doing other stuff, chores. A lot of times I mix chores and hobby in with each other. Okay, so we've got the 4 bits in the bottom, and then we're just gonna, I'm debating on how much I want to take this out. I think we're gonna go hardcore cutters, man. We're just gonna, on the other ones, I think I drilled them out, but you know, I just clip, like straight clip. I think right there is the spot. If you look, there's a little bit of a shelf, and I think that right here above that is going to be the spot right there. So let's take that out. And I think we're going to go all the way down. Woof. Okay. And my GW cutters. Almost wish I had some thinner ones, but they got the oomph to do it in a clean cut at least. So let's put that cowl back up. It's got to be the right cowl for this one. Okay, so we still have to go lower down into this area if we want to expose the actual area that I want to. So it looks like I'm going to have to cut the top, and then we're going to go down into the second section. I think that should be adequate here, so let's just go for it. Okay, flipped out nice. Oops, flip those over. Of course, sprue cutter's having a flat side. You want to be cognizant of where you put that when possible. And oh yeah, look at that. Very nice. Nice clean cut. And let's see how that's going to look. Ooh, not bad. What I see is that we do actually need to take this shelf out a little bit. Yeah, I think that shelf needs to come out right in the corner at least. So I guess there's no reason to keep the whole thing. I don't know. I'm a little leery about cutting too much of it. So let's just, at least on the first one, once I've kind of figured out what we need, the second one obviously becomes easier. But it's one of those things, once you've removed the plastic, yes, you can put plastic back. Yeah, everything's repairable on a model, blah, blah, blah. But it's better if you don't have to. Okay, so yeah, that looks pretty good, actually. Okay, so I think we are going to just take this last little piece out. Make that all nice and smooth. And I'm actually going to even relieve this corner just a hair more. Danger zone for sure. I think that's going to give me the exposure I want on that light, because you figure I'm going to bring in that fiber optic. So let's go ahead and show you what's going on here. I'm going to bring in that fiber optic from this direction. And we're going to attach, you see that? We're going to attach the LED to the end of the fiber optic, but then I also want it to be shining kind of into this area right here, which is where that cowling is going to end up. So we got that cowling right there. And then see if you look carefully. Go. Focus. You can do it. It's still focusing on the stupid Dark Angels thing on the table. There we go. But yeah, you see how there's the fiber optic going inside. I wonder. Oh man, I didn't even think of that. That might have been a cool effect too. Just the light, and then you kind of see the glow only of that rod. But yeah, side glow on fiber optics is less than impressive, though. That's a neat idea. Anyways, I was just thinking of how you could see the rod through there. We're going to actually fill that with hot melt glue gun. So there it is. There's the first half of the bike. We've just taken that whole big chunk out. Now the rest of them, now that we know what we're going for, we're just going to blow that whole section out. Just do that. Okay. Clip, clip, clip. Clip, clip, clip. And we're going to dive right in. And bam. If you're out there watching, hopefully you are. Hopefully you're enjoying these Wednesday live streams. Let me know if you'd like to see anything in particular. If you're a particular tale, maybe something I've mentioned on the show but never cycled back to talking about. Go ahead. Feel free. It is kind of an open forum here. Feel free to pop in that chat, say hi, whatever. Or maybe I'm just sitting here on my lonesome, talking to myself. Oh, it's a terrible thing. Yeah, I doubt it, though. Okay, so we've relieved all of that. Let's see. We have... keep these a little more organized. But... this is the cowl for this one. You can tell by the small posts or large posts. And once again, we'll just kind of relieve that corner a skosh. It should be fine. Just kind of bring that in. I'm just kind of scalloping out a little material. Oof, that was a little close to my thumb. Watch the direction of your cut sometimes. Though there is a certain entertainment factor, I guess, if I do end up putting my knife through my finger in one of these episodes, be like, yeah, did you see that? See John fucking cut his goddamn finger off. Yeah, thanks. Yeah. Talk about it for days. So anyways, here we go. And there we are. Very nice. Okay, so that goes together. Again, I can see through, we can see the little Dark Angel's coin through the cowling. 2 down. I guess a smart thing might be to just leave the cowlings here. Now, the neat thing GW did is, they have the big posts and the small posts on the cowlings. And on one bike, it's the left, the other bike, it's the right. So let's go ahead and pop this out. Here we are. And again, vivisection this area. Be afraid to do some modifications. It's one of these things like, if you're building your first GW models, well, you're probably not watching this video, but honestly, if you are, I recommend starting off building models per instructions. Get a concept, get an idea, learn the patterns, that kind of stuff. But quickly, you'll find yourself looking at the directions less and less, making more modifications, especially as you've been modeling for a while, like many of us have. You find that you have lots of extra pieces from old kits and models laying around, bits as it were. And of course, you take those bits and glue them all over stuff and modify and whatever, and you get pretty good at it. Yeah, there we go. Nice. I myself had a habit, I'm sure a lot of you do, as a child, of disassembling most of the toys. I'd get a brand new toy and immediately disassemble it. I wanted to see how it worked. Look at the lights, LEDs, especially if it was electronic inside. See what the heck made it tick. And then, yeah, I'd usually put them back together and play with them for a while as they were intended. Yeah, especially so my parents wouldn't see me like breaking, brand new toy immediately. And then I kind of get bored with them, so they go to the side, and whenever something else would come along, I'd do the same thing. After a while, I started taking some of the older stuff and just disassembling those and seeing if I could recombine them together. I had model glue and stuff like that as a kid, and all the supplies and sprues and bits. And so, yeah, I glue stuff together and sometimes had some cool results and mostly had just a lot of weird experiments as a kid. But you know how it is. You learn from these things, right? All the stupid kid play stuff is actually valuable learning of just different ways things work. Okay. So I think that's it. We've got all 4 of those cowlings. Get in there. Get in there. I kind of damaged those a little much. So let's see if we can fix what I did here. In the way. Just clip it out of the way. Oh, there we go. Look at that. Slice that right off. Slip, 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 slip. Done. Okay. Hey, what's up, Drew? Painting some Seraphon, so you're on? Awesome, dude. Thanks a lot, man. How you liking those Seraphon? Have you gotten a game in with them yet? Maybe a TTS or something like that? I know Mr. Alex has been trying them out. I think he just played a game against Jeremy on the live stream the other day playing them. I know they're tough, man. It's one of those armies that I just don't see. I always say, I don't see myself starting that army 6 months later. I got that army. But really, I'm probably not going to start any Seraphon. Man, I really like the army. And it seems so strong. So it seems like it would be fun to wield for a while. With my Skaven, big fan of horde armies. And Seraphon isn't really a horde army, but it's more like with the summoning, it has potential to have a lot of bodies, all the skinks on the field. So that's kind of cool. I'm watching Jeremy. Oh yeah, Jeremy. I was saying earlier this week on the show, Jeremy not only talks about those games, but we do kind of a Lumineth buying guide, where that was the intention. It was like, so we were going to do this Lumineth buying guide to match the release. And then Jeremy played the heck out of the army all weekend long. And we're expecting him to come out with like, yeah, here's the power list, and here's the units you need to buy, and get this, and win, blah, blah, blah. And he's like, yeah, to hell with this army. I don't like it. and so it was actually kind of a funny thing there. So let's see. Those, yeah, I guess those fit together. I said, or did I grab 2 of the wrong halves again? Yep, sure enough, again. So you can see that pip is not on the bottom. That pip is on the bottom. So there we go. That'd be cool and grab the right one, but 50-50. Grab the wrong one again. No, this is the right one. Okay, so yeah, these are the pieces that go together. Removed all the alignment pips. And what is interfering with it on top there? So something keeping those from closing. See where the gap is. Get the camera in there. I think the gap is on this side, maybe. At least something sticking out. See how this is sitting. First off, if it sits even on its own, and it looks like I can bring it up even, so it looks like it's fine. So let's look at 2 halves of this bike then. They closing properly in the middle. And they are. That seems to be it. Oh yeah, the calf, right? Nice. Yeah, I like those calf too. It's funny. That's the first thing my wife keeps asking about is the horses. Like she's like, "Oh, Lumineth, which one's those?" I go, "Oh, the cavalry, the horses." She's like, "Oh yeah, the horses. Did you buy a bunch of the horses?" I'm like, "No, the horses aren't ready yet. I'm getting the horses. We will have horses. There will be horses." Okay, so this seems to go together well enough, like this. I wonder where the interference is. That's still a little rough. Maybe it is just this side. Let's clean that up a little and see if it just allows them to fit together better. Oh yeah, look at that. I think that was it. I wasn't real happy with the fit on the top of this one. I didn't spend as much time on it as I like. And I think on these ones, if I end up with a little gap, and some of my other bikes have that same gap, which was, I guess it made it twice as annoying because I was already used to seeing that as a gap. But so this next one, I'm going to take some of the Tamiya goo and just kind of slather it all over that crack, and then just file it down afterwards. It could be that little post sticking down there. Let's take that out as well. And we remove the gas exhaust pipe, promethium exhaust pipe. I guess it would be technically. Okay, there we are. And let's get that fitted. There we are. Okay, so yeah, it's just not perfect. I think that's the model though, because I can pinch it and it does go together. I don't know. I'd like that gap to be tighter at this point, but I think just accept that we're gonna. The thing is, I'm also going to go into that same spot. We're gonna put a spacer in there, a piece of foil between the two halves. So I'm already gonna be challenging that joint. I'm a little worried with that. I think it'll be okay. We're gonna let it go. Oh, so I've built all of my Marines with, let's see. Oh, I don't even have any out and handy. Sorry. Anyway, so I made them all with a black scheme with skulls on the shoulders, and I'm calling them my Johnny Marines. And then I've built all the Primaris characters, but painted them all as Johnny Marines. So I can do Raven Guard, Ultramarines, Dark Angels, Iron Hands, Imperial Fists. Basically, I can run them as any Marine faction that I want. However, I do have a large Ultramarines army and a large Dark Angels army. So for the most part, I've been running them as Ultramarines. I ran them as Dark Angels like 2 or 3 times because I have all those characters as well. But mostly they're seeing table time as Ultramarines. I still like Ultramarines. That's my go-to. They're cool. They're Roman-esque. That's why I like them. Anyway, so that's that. But yeah, I'm super future proofing myself though. That's the whole thing. Is like I don't at whatever time, if especially it's like that thing. Like mostly I play at home with friends and stuff, but I do plan on going to tournaments again. And when I go to a tournament, yeah, I'm all about bringing what wins. So if there's a flavor of the month Marines that's gonna help me stomp through the middle tables, then that's what I'm gonna go for. Again, that's what I'm liking about this. A little bit of freedom with them. Plus, the other half is I'm doing it all contrast colors. So I use contrast black, and it's just making for like a quick, easy paint job. So that's part of it. I just want to keep them all painted and current because I fear GW is expanding. Now, yeah, I think it's just the model because I'm able to hold it together, and so I'll probably end up, putting a clamp on there as I end up gluing it here. But I think we're in pretty good shape as far as that goes. So without further ado, let's test the routing of the wires. See how that goes. So again, from last week, let me straighten these out a bit. And Now, it's nice that Evans gives us all this stuff pre-cut, pre-wires. It was super, super duper easy for me to hook everything up. On the flip side, there's just like minor details that are a little bit of a hassle. See the lights flashing as I'm messing with them. One of those is that all the wires were the same length. And so, in fact, it makes him have to a little more effort so that I don't make sure these don't touch each other. As soon as we run these through the center, there we are. You'll notice I'm leaving the wires on the bottom pretty loose for now until I know how much length I actually need to take up into the bike. I don't want to bind them up too much. But once I have a sense of what we're going to need inside the bike, then we're going to go ahead and secure the wires on the bottom just a little bit more. Oh, are you talking about the lighting for my LED stuff? Super cheap. So it's like $2-3 for this piece. And then each light was a couple dollars too. So I think I'm under $10 per bike, like maybe $10-12 per bike in actual lighting costs from Evans Design. So I was impressed by the low cost. Now, mind you, the big difference between this Evans Design stuff and the Powered Play stuff I was working with in the past is the Powered Play had actual circuit boards that were programmable. So on those ones, they were a lot more expensive, but I was able to power 3 or 4 different effects. I think it was 3. No, I think it was 4. I'd have to count. It was 3 or 4 different effects off one board. Here, I'm accomplishing the flashing. There's an actual inline flasher soldered with these LEDs. Now, that's by Evans. I guess I could have done that myself, but the price they're charging, why do it myself, really? So it's all pretty neat. I definitely, if you're curious about doing lighting, I would recommend hitting up their website. So let's see. I brought those LEDs through the base. And there we got our flashy guns. And there we've got our plasma engine and our red display. So everything seems to be working just fine. Oof. Wow. No, I guess they're okay. Sometimes like you can see, I don't know if you can see it. I can see it. Those are definitely not the same brightness. Pretty close. The way it washes out on the camera, you can kind of see that one makes like a bigger circle than the other, and you can consider that representative of a brighter spot. And then there's that as well. It's again, LEDs, lights, and digital cameras interact in funny ways, so you get different glows and different appearance sort of on the camera than whatever you see in person. So kind of interesting. Okay, so yeah, right, you can see that pretty clear. One is definitely off. So now we're gonna start worrying about the running the wires into the bike. And before I glue the bike, oh, was that it? Did we just run out of time? Oh my gosh, I looked up and saw 14 seconds and thought it was like 14 minutes. Okay, well, we got a lot done today. We actually did go through and do all of the drilling. So basically at this point, the bike itself is fully prepared. We have both of the channels drilled right here, as well as the channels for the plasma gun, and then the lighting for the effects that's going to come out of the cowling on the machine gun. And so that's looking pretty good. Okay, so one, that means I didn't have to use the hot melt glue gun this week. We will be busting that out next week. And my guess is that next Wednesday at 8 p.m. when we come back, that I should be actually attaching the wires to the inside of the bike. I'm going to be shaping the fiber optic and possibly clipping and placing these. That's a lot to do in an hour, but maybe I'll get all of that done. So again, I'm looking at probably 2 or 3 more sessions, I would say, until we have a fully lit bike that's ready to go. And after that, I might have had just continue on with the painting. So, hey, Drew, it was good to see you, bro. Thanks for stopping in. Always welcome. Always a pleasure. Good to hear from you. Everyone else who stopped in, thank you very much. Let me switch back to the old face cam. Bam! There I am. So once again, everybody, thank you for joining me for Wednesday Hobby Night with John on In Your Phase Media. Look for our podcast to come out Thursday. We'll be talking about Lumineth Realm Lords and your buyer's guide, as well as covering a couple tournaments that happened overseas. And of course, our Sunday live stream. Mostly it's been Jeremy and Alex, but they've been trying to bring in some local guests to try and get a little more variety of players. And once again, we are alternating back and forth between 40K and Age of Sigmar. So whichever game system you like, we have something for you. Or if you're like us, you're a Warhammer maniac and you love it all. And with that, everybody stay safe, be cool, and we'll see you all next week.